one thing that I find so fun is touring everybody else's studios. I want to take you inside mine this afternoon to my home away from home. And we will start right here. This is where I spend a lot of my time. I am a long arm quilter, and here in a minute you will see my long arm. I'm just going to do a quick scan of the room. I have a quilt on the floor over there from a customer that's about ready to go on. The quilt here on the machine is my own. It's one I'm doing to get ready for a quilting retreat. The quilts on the wall were all pieced and quilted by me, and I admit I have a few too many. And then we stop over here at the door again, and my entrance into my quilt studio. I do have a nice view of the mountains. I am very fortunate in my views here out my windows, and especially when I'm sitting at my Bernina. It's probably kind of hard to see, but I do have a nice view of the mountains and the snow outside. So let's begin our quick tour. Here I have a lot of cubbies, I'll call them for lack of a better word, that are from Hobby Lobby. This one is a turnstile, and I keep everything from scissors to thread. These are my wool thread collection. These are some eye drops that I'm using right now. But my Valdani threads are in the bottom. Anyway, I love cubbies. I love rustic cubbies. I love rustic anything. My bulletin board full of winter ideas right now. Just pin cushions, my Bernina. Here's another, what I would call cubby that I got at Hobby Lobby. It's like a 3-tiered, almost like a cake stand or a cookie plate. But I keep my pin cushions in there. I keep just greenery, odds and ends. And at the very top I have some scissors with some string, pens, pencils, you name it. My hexies there along the wall that I'm starting to make for my hexie quilt, my grandma's flower garden. I'm making them all out of Joe Morton fabrics. And this dress here in the corner is the dress I wore when I taught my Civil War living history classes, and combined them with quilting. I took on the personality of a woman during the Civil War times. I taught them for about 4 years. Loved doing it. I always took on a battle and taught about that battle. I learned how to make hardtack, which really did exist, and just really enjoyed the process of quilting and teaching Civil War living history. This right here is also a cubby from Hobby Lobby. It also turns. It's got all my needles for different sizes of things, my rulers, lots of different things. They just come in so handy. My stash of wool that I do use a lot lately, penny rugs, rug hooking. Here in a minute you'll see a quilt that I finished up with some wool applique on it. Up at the very top up there are my antique spools that have rickrack, lace, just different ways to store. I don't want to get that ugly cord in there, sorry. But just different ways to store a lot of trimmery. The black cabinet has all my customer quilts in it that I'm currently quilting. I have quite a few in reserve, and the little white dress, of course, belonged to my granddaughter Emma when she was blessed. Yeah, my fabric stash. I'm going to do a totally different video on that. It's a little overwhelming. I can't quite comprehend that one right now. Down here at the end is my fireplace. It's propane. I love it. Baskets of yarn hang all over. My pantaloon set that my aunt gave me for Christmas. A dear friend made me that quilt on the wall, and my great-grandmother made me the blue quilt hanging over, or excuse me, the blue jacket hanging over there. But this is Goldie. This is my long arm. And the quilt I have on right now is called A Tisket, a Tasket, Aunt Roma's Garden Basket. And I started out using just cotton fabrics, But I got kind of tired of this quote-unquote needle turn slash backing method, so I switched to a lot of wool. I just wasn't happy with how long it was taking me. I figured I had so many hours in this, I was just going to be shooting myself at the foot if it wasn't even going to be getting done. I started this quilt embarrassingly, I will tell you, in 2004, and that was one hang up I had, is I did not like taking all that time to do all that applique. So I switched to wool, and that's part of my discussion for my up-and-coming retreat that I will be teaching at next weekend. Anyway, but this is my long arm machine. I've had Goldie since 2004, so I've had her about 14 years, and she and I have been literally best friends. She's run very well for me, and I've enjoyed working with Goldie. Over here here's the door we came in. My corner cabinet, and in those baskets up above, I have a lot of yarn and cotton yarn that I make, washcloths or, whatever out of, pot holders. I kind of put those kinds of things on the back burner, but I have to have my supplies, needless to say. Then my quilts and my long board up above that I have all my knickknacks and things that I've made. Some of my most treasured possessions are up there. My ironing board with my really cool iron. I just love this iron. It's an Oliso. I think that's how you pronounce Oliso. Pro. I did get the Pro. It's got a 12-foot cord, but when you touch it, it goes down. You let go and it goes up. So I will never be burning fabric. So, yeah, it is a really awesome iron. I absolutely love it. That block on the ironing board is a block I'm very gratefully, I can't believe I'm doing this, helping to teach an Amish woman to quilt. We have some Amish here in our community, and one of them has asked me to show her how to quilt. So she's in the midst of piecing a quilt of her own, and I am so proud of her. Anyway, more quilts. My pie safe here houses all my quilting threads, and there's some tools down below. One of my girlfriends teases me that I paint with thread, and I have to have lots of different colors, of course, and some of them are variegated. You can see that pink and blue right there. Some browns that are variegated, a black and white. The whole top row is pretty much variegated thread. It's a King Tut product, a Superior Threads, called King Tut, right there. I have a lot of thread. I love thread. There's different weights in here to create different textures. Thin thread to be almost invisible. Just lots of thread that I have. So there's that. I'm going down the way here. My radio, more quilts. My refrigerator, it's full of water and sparkling water and 0-calorie drinks. That little mess over there is my cutting table, and it's got cubbies, you can see. It's from IKEA. My husband, I bought two, I don't know the name of them, but I bought two, basically they're bookshelves, and he fastened them together for me as we put them together. And then there's brackets, and there's also wheels on the bottom, so I can roll that anywhere I want. Right now it's kind of shoved in the corner, but when I had my quilting studio in town, I could roll that anywhere I wanted, and it was very, very handy. But in my little studio out here at my home, it's not quite so versatile as it was there, but I still can roll it around because of the legs that it's on. But what's on here are, it's organized in chaos, because I know what each one of these are. One is a knitting bag that I'm making. Several knitting bags back there. This is going to be a quilt for a neighbor, I think. It's called High Adventure, and there's arrows and some stacks of wood. Some bears. It's a cute jelly roll. And that pile is also kind of a mismatch of some bags that I'm going to be making. This is a basket of thread, and that's not significant in as much as the basket is. My dear aunt in Illinois made that for me, and I will always treasure it. Back in the corner, when I cut my fabrics or when I'm cutting out a quilt, I like to, if there's just a little bit left over, I will go ahead and cut out a 1.5 to 2.5 inch strip. And then also the salvages down there, because I do use the salvages in other fun little projects. And then just a corner cabinet with some rotary cutters, a stack of fat quarters, some my primitive lighting. I'm a big fan of colonial era and colonial decorating, so that's what that is. And then just to finish off the room, a bunch of cross stitch patterns that I have stitched. I love all needle arts and quilting. Back in the day when my kids were little, I of course did not have a sewing room or a studio, so I cross stitched a lot. And so those are some of those projects, and we're back around here. But anyway, hope you get inspired to do something creative, whether it be writing. I'm also writing a lot lately in my journal. Painting, knitting, scrapbooking, photography. We tend to turn inward when winter is here, and I hope that you have time today to read or learn something new, learn something that you have always wanted to do. And I hope you have a studio in which to do it in. Goodbye for now from the Continental Divide, and I will see you next time.